vibes in the island, baby. So let the party start. Them woman beautiful as ever. The sun is hot, boy. Are you ready? Ha!
Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I'm Raphael and I'm here to review episode 4 of the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Pissing Themselves trip. So we start the episode off with more cheating and more affairs between Michael, the concierge, who is married and has a whole wife, and Luann, who is single, but she's just having a hot girl housewife summer, and she's just looking for a good time, even if that means with somebody else's husband. So both of them, they're in the kitchen. Michael is catching Luann up on all the activities that he has planned for her in the cast today, and then they start speaking French. Now, Luann didn't know that he could speak French until he approached her and Teresa at the beach, and he was the one that initiated the whole flirty conversation back and forth between each other. And in Luann's world, that's all okay, because in her confessional, she was just like, you know, I feel like the art of flirting with somebody else's spouse, I feel like it kind of just went out the window. Nobody really flirts with husbands nowadays. And I feel like it's up to me to bring it back. So I'm glad that he could flirt with me because I could flirt with him, because both of them, they were doing a lot of flirting at the beach for somebody who's married. And Luann, she just didn't give a fuck. I mean, they just kept going back and forth. Luann told Michael, so, Michael, I was wondering, I mean, let me speak French to you. Oui. I was wondering, are you gonna come to my roomie? Are you gonna eat my pussy? Are you gonna eat my booty? What are we gonna do? And then he obviously had no problem with it because he flirted back with Luann, and he was just like, I was also wondering the same thing. Are you gonna come over and suck my pee-pee, my dicky, my wee-wee? I mean, I know that I'm married, but I don't really care. And then Teresa jumps in, and Teresa's like, wait, is that a wedding band around your finger? Is that a wedding band around your finger, Michael? And Michael, his French just went right out his throat because he got it all together. It's like reality hit him in the face again, that he was married and that he has a wife, because he was just like, it's a wedding band. But you know, Luann in her confessional, she's like, I didn't know that he was married. Yes, you did. You just didn't care. But it's not even about you, Luann. I mean, he's the one that's married. He should know better than to flirt around so publicly like that, and especially in front of all these cameras. You know, like, aren't you supposed to be faithful, Michael? What's going on here? So as everyone is slowly waking up, they're all getting ready to head downstairs and eat breakfast. Teresa, she decides to head to Ramona's room to talk to her about her newfound love with Louis, her fiance, because in Teresa's words, Ramona is a lonely, bitter woman who can't find a man, and she'll probably end up being alone for the rest of her life unless she fixes something about herself quickly. So she feels like by talking about her relationship with Louis, it might help spark something in Ramona to make her less miserable day by day. Now, how is that gonna work? I'm not sure, but in Teresa's world, it will. So she goes into Ramona's room and she's like, hey, Ramona, hey, I know you don't have a boyfriend or a man, and I do, and I know you can't relate, but I just wanted to talk to you about my little cue cards that Louis gave me, you know, the love cards that Louis had gave her prior to the trip so she could read day by day. And now we're at day 4. So she's like, you want to listen to me talk to you about it? Like, do you want me to, I'm going to read this one out loud to you. What do you mean you don't want to listen? You don't care? What do you mean you don't care? There's a fucking table right there. I'll flip that shit in 2 seconds if you don't sit down and listen. Oh, you will? You'll listen? Okay, so let me read it to you. Dear Trey, that's what he calls me. Dear Trey, I miss you so much and you give me chills, especially that one scene in the Real Housewives of New Jersey season 12 trailer where you were throwing a bunch of drinks and food at Margaret. I remember that night like it was yesterday, LOL. It was such a cute moment. I can't wait till February 1st. That's when the new season 12 comes. Oh, you're gonna love it, Ramona. It's gonna be so much better than your whack-ass, lame-ass last season of New York. I miss you so much, and I cannot wait for that iconic scene between you and Margaret. It was so good. And I think I saw myself in the trailer a couple times too, and I can't wait to be the star. I mean, you be the star. Wait a minute. Let me just continue reading this, Ramona. I can't wait for you to continue being the star of New Jersey. Oh, and remember how Melissa had to force that fake storyline of her pretending to fight Jennifer again this season? LOL. I can't wait till you're back. I miss you, baby. LOL. Love, Louis. He's so cute, and he put a little heart over his name. Teresa, Melissa, Kyle, Luann, and Cynthia, they're all downstairs eating breakfast at the table. They're all talking. Luann is letting them know that her Latin lover is going to come to New York to visit her. And I'm like, Latin lover? Wait a minute. What's going on, Luann? First you have a married man in Turks and Caicos, and now you have a Latin lover coming to New York to visit you? Like, damn. What kind of golden box do you got between your legs that you have all these men falling for you? But you know what? I'm not even mad at her. Like, go ahead, do you, Luann. Like she says, you know, Have as much sex as you want, as long as you're not hurting nobody. Who cares? So then Kyle, she asked Luann, so wait, have you took him to your show? Because apparently, I just found out too this season that Luann, she does cabaret, she does singing, she does all of these other activities outside of Housewives. And then Luann is just like, no, I haven't taken him to any show yet. And then Cynthia, she jumps in and she's like, oh, well, we have some talent in Atlanta as well. You know, Nene Leakes, she used to do Broadway. And she also used to be up there in the musical theater. And then Luann is just like, oh, really? So then Teresa, she jumps in and Teresa's just like, wait. Speaking of Nene Leakes, do you still talk to her? What's going on with that? And then Cynthia's just like, I don't really like being questioned about Nene Leakes. Our friendship is very in the past. And honestly, it's just very painful to even talk about it. So I prefer if we just move on from this. So then they move on to the next conversation, and then Teresa's just like, yeah, no, I understand what you went through with Nene. I get it. Like, I understand your pain and frustration with her, and I get that you don't want to talk about her, because I also felt the same way with Jacqueline, Jacqueline was an old housewives on New Jersey in the earlier seasons years ago. And then they play the flashbacks of them. And every time they play a flashback of the New Jersey housewives from like the earlier seasons, it almost makes me tear up because it was so juicy. Like, it's still good now, but you know, the earlier housewives, like when it first came out, it was just so good. It was just fire, you know? So she's like, yeah, you know, so I get your relationship and your frustration with Nene. And every time Cynthia kept trying to like talk about a little bit about her relationship with Nene, Teresa just kept making it about her and Jacqueline. I mean, Cynthia was just like, yeah, no, me and Nene, we used to talk on the phone all the time. Yeah, me and Jacqueline used to do that too for hours. And then Cynthia's just like, okay, well, yeah, me and Nene, we used to go to the park. Yeah, me and Jacqueline used to do that too. We used to go to every single park every single day. Yeah, no, I get it, but we will have breakfast like every other day. We will have breakfast every single day. Teresa just kept cutting her off. Teresa is explaining to them how she felt betrayed by Jacqueline, her friend at the time, where Jacqueline threw that blow at her and was just like, Teresa, what me and you do are two completely different things. You went to jail for fraud. I didn't. So Teresa felt some type of way that Jacqueline would say such a thing in front of all the cameras to embarrass her. So then she moves the conversation over to Kyle. And she's like, so Kyle, you wouldn't do that either, right? I mean, would you be the type of person to, you know, kind of poke at Erica Jane's legal issues? Would you bring that up in front of the cameras? And then Kyle, you could tell that it ruined her entire breakfast. I mean, she was just shook. She was just like, wait, what, Erica? Wait, I thought we were talking about you and Jacqueline and Nene. Erica, can we talk about this later? I'm kind of scared of her. You didn't watch season 11? You didn't? Oh my God. Can we just put the camera down for like a couple minutes? We can't? We have to continue filming? Oh, well, no, I would never say anything about Erica. No, I think Erica is innocent. She did do it, honestly, just between me and you. She didn't do it at all. No, Teresa, no, I would never bring up these legal issues. I mean, I would ask certain questions, yes, for my confessional, but I wouldn't say it to her face. I would usually let Sutton do that. But I wouldn't. Cut the cameras. Eventually, everybody heads out because it's Melissa's day for her activity, and her activity is to go searching for a storyline for the next season of The Real Housewives of New Jersey in a buggy. So they're all in their cars. We have Cynthia, Luann, and Ramona in one car, and then we have Teresa, Kenya, Melissa, and Kyle in the other car. And Cynthia, she's just talking how she could really relate to Teresa now that she has a man, she's in love, and she's in love too. And she's like, you know, Luann and Ramona, I can't relate to either one of you because both of you are single. So then in the other car, Kenya, you know, she's being praised by Kyle. Kyle was telling her, you know, that she really likes her because she has seen her on Atlanta, and she's like, you know, I've seen that you could be shady. You have your shady ways, but from what I got to know in person, you're actually pretty cool. And Kenya's like, well, thank you. You know, it's really hard because everybody's always trying to paint me out to be the villain or the bad person. And I'm like, now wait a minute, Kenya. I'm like, now hold on. Nobody has to paint you out to be anything, Kenya, because you do a pretty good job at just grabbing the paintbrush yourself and just painting a good picture for the audience. So I'm confused by what you meant by that. They also mentioned the whole, you know, Gia, Teresa's daughter, though, waking up in the morning, thinking about so many things. I just want things to get better. I'm tired of everything. You know, it's just so crazy how when I heard that, I think the first time I heard that was on TikTok, and I did not know it was Gia. It was so long ago that it just kind of like slipped my mind. And then when I found out like, oh, this is Gia's sound, this is her singing, it was just like a huge mind fuck to me. They finally get to the buggy place, and it was cute to see them have fun again and to swerve on the road in the buggy cars. It reminded me of when the cast of Atlanta did a similar activity. I believe it was in Greece or in a different country, if I'm not mistaken, where they were in these carts and they were swerving all through the highways, and they were all scared and petrified of their driving. So it was cute. I love the overlay shot of from the top of the camera work from the top, where they zoomed in on all the red buggy cars just swerving through the roads and everything. It looked like giant red anal beads. But it was nice. It was a nice time. It was cute to see them have fun again. So after the buggy ride experience, they sit down to have food and drinks. And Melissa, she lets us know that when you're filming for the Housewives, when you're at a restaurant, that you have to be on camera ordering your drinks and your food. And the food and drinks have to be caught on camera as they're coming to the table. And it's so interesting because I never really thought about that. I mean, I always see it on the Housewives shows, but I never really thought that that was the actual rule. So then Luann, she's like, okay, let's talk more, behind the scenes stuff of the Housewives. And she's like, let's play this game called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. 3 words basically describing their experience as housewives on the show. And the first question is, so do you think that, your marriages fall apart when you come into the show? Kyle, she doesn't believe that. She just feels like if you come onto the show with issues already in your marriage or your relationships, that it's just going to intensify it and it's probably going to fall apart after maybe 1, maybe 2 seasons. So, and I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I probably agree because we have seen so many women go through divorce or cheating scandals on these shows. So it's just you're bringing your issues outside of the camera in front of the camera, and it intensifies it. And some people, they act differently in front of cameras. You could be the calmest person off of camera, but as soon as you put a camera on you, you want to act, this way, that way, this way. You think you're a superstar all of a sudden. So, you want to act differently. So if anything, it's going to highlight the good in you, but it's also going to highlight the bad traits in you as well, if not intensify it, if you don't control it in front of the cameras. And Melissa, I like how she was trying to force her relationship with Joe down our throats. She was just like, yeah, one time me and Joe, we were watching our real argument because everybody accuses us of having fake storylines and fake arguments, but we were watching a real argument between me and Joe, and I just could not believe everything that was going on between me and Joe because it was just so real. I mean, it was so real, like REAL. It was so real, right? Right, everybody? Like, everybody believed what me and Joe were fighting about, right? Because it was definitely real. Like, it was so real, right? Real. And then Cynthia highlights the good side about being a part of the show. And she's like, well, if it wasn't for the show, I would have never got to meet this group of women that I probably never would have met on my everyday life off of the show. And she's grateful for that. She's grateful for all the friendships that she made over the years. And honestly, there's so many good as well as bad that comes with being on The Housewives. I mean, you get attention, you get fame, you get money, you get endorsements, promotions, all of this. You get a paycheck just to, cause petty drama on cameras or whatever. And then you do this for like 6 months out of the whole year, and then you get to, live your best life depending on how the show goes. So, there are good perks, there are good, things that come about being a part of the show. And then Luann, she's like, well, how does everybody deal with the comments and, the backlash of the audience and everything, online? And Kenya's like, well, my first season was the hardest because the first season and every other season after that, if I'm not mistaken, they always accused her of, having a fake boyfriend or a fake husband or whatever. And I did not know that that was the very first season that Kenya came on with the whole Walter thing where, are you paying him to be with you? I did not know that that was her first season. I thought that was like her second season, maybe third, but I think there was like a list of men that people have accused Kenya of supposedly paying off or whatever to be on the show. So Kenya, I don't know, I'm still skeptical about the whole Walter situation, but I guess I'll believe you for now. And not even just the Walter situation, just the situations overall that the Housewives have to go through on a daily basis by just putting their lives on display in front of the cameras for our entertainment purposes. It must not be an easy thing. I mean, yes, they're getting an easy paycheck, most people would say, but at what cost? You got all, millions of fans just attacking you or criticizing you or just judging you or just some fans, they do way too much by sliding into their DMs and saying you're this, and that. It's just never that serious, So you have to give all the wives, even some of them that may not be our favorites. You have to give them all their kudos because it must not be an easy thing to just put yourself out there in front of the cameras on season by season for display, just so everybody could, either attack you or just make up lies about you. But then again, that goes for any reality show. It must be a difficult thing just to put your life out there overall. So Melissa's throwing a slumber party in the living room of the house that they're staying at, and she has matching pajamas for everybody that she got from her store Envy back in New Jersey. So she gives them out to everybody to go change into. And Kyle, as she's upstairs, she's walking around, she's looking for Kenya. All of a sudden, she leads into this door and she hears Kenya crying on the other side. So she knocks on it and she's like, do you want me to go in without any cameras? So then Kenya's like, yeah, can you just come in? So Kyle, she goes in without the camera crew, with no cameras attached to her, and they're all having a moment behind the door. Kenya, she's just sobbing into the microphone. And then in the confessional, she lets us know that Mark, her ex-husband, he has been doing a toxic trait that every toxic ex most likely does at some point in their lives. And she's like, well, he texted me, we were texting, and he's just like, it would be nice if we went back to the hopeful people that we once were in our relationship. And that's exactly what these toxic exes try to do, especially around the holidays when it gets cold and they get lonely and they want to get frisky or whatever. Just a quick little thing for me. Somebody had texted me, this was a long time ago. They had texted me a picture of me and them, around the holidays or whatever. And this was 2 years later. And they were like, oh, remember when we went here and we did this? And it was a selfie of us. And I'm like, first of all, why do you still have this picture of us? Like, your pictures have been deleted out of everything. Maybe my brain, a couple pictures are still in there. But why are you texting me? I was like, who is this? But that's what they typically try to do. That person is now blocked on my phone. I didn't even bother replying. So, it was just unfortunate that Kenya was going through that, because I know that people will try to manipulate themselves back into your life just to keep that circus going. Mark probably likes that. Like, he probably likes dragging Kenya through the mud every other week. Like, oh no, I could give you some hope now. Wait a minute, no, I'm gonna take it back from you next week. No, I'll give you some hope now. No, I'll take it back again the following week. Like, that's probably his game that he likes to play with her. And it's very heartbreaking. And I'm glad that Kenya was just like, I'm very strong enough to know that I'm not going to stay with this man in a marriage just because of the kids. That's what everybody loves to do nowadays, which is something I just don't agree with. I don't agree that you should stay in a marriage that you don't want to be in just because you're children. Like, oh, let me just wait till they're 18. Let me just wait till they're adults or teenagers or whatever. No, because then you're going to be miserable, sad, depressed, and who are you going to take it out on? Your children when they're older. You're going to, get all spiteful and angry at them for ruining your happiness. So I'm glad that Kenya is going a different route, because she's like, well, if my baby, Brooklyn, if she wants to see me happy, and what's best for me is best to be a single mother. So that's that, so I'm glad that she realized that. And then here comes Cynthia. Like, Cynthia, I don't think she did anything wrong. She was just, creeping up to the door and everything. She was buttoning up her pajamas, and she's like, wait a minute, I hear Kenya crying on the other side. Wait, is that her crying? Camera crew 1 and camera crew 2 and 3 and 4. And is there another camera crew? Okay, yeah, you camera crew. Okay, just all of you, just come with me. We're gonna go in. Are you ready? Are you ready? 3, come. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're going in. That's exactly how Cynthia was. And then as soon as she opened the door, Kenya just looked up and she looked so annoyed that Cynthia had the whole SWAT of camera crews with her. She was like, come on, Cynthia, I didn't want anybody in here with cameras. What are you doing? What's going on? Like, are you trying to be a good friend? But just like I said a second ago, you have to take the good, the bad, and the ugly with what comes to being on a reality TV show, Kenya. So that's exactly what you're doing. You're filming a reality TV show. You can't escape the cameras. You can't put them down just because you want them down. That's just not how it works. This isn't Bravo, fucking Bravo. Like, no, we're not doing that. But, if I was Cynthia, I wouldn't care either. You did me dirty at my event like 2 nights ago for my Bailey Q. You came whenever you came, so why shouldn't I come in here with the camera crews and be petty and try to ruin your moment? So again, it's just another strain on their relationship that's probably not going to work in the future. Back downstairs, Michael is setting up all the party games for all the women to have. He set up this huge twister board on the floor, right, with a bunch of shots on each color. If you remember the twister game, there was like green, yellow, blue, and red. And he put like little shots on specific spots where they all have to get down on their, their arms and legs. And they have to try to take the shot with just their mouth without touching it with their hands. So I thought that was a pretty cute idea. I'm like, look at you, Michael, being a freak. But everybody reunites back downstairs. Kenya, she's feeling a little bit better. Everybody finally knows about the situation, but she comes back downstairs and she's still a good sport about it. Melissa's like, okay, we're gonna get down like how we get down in Jersey. And I'm like, Melissa, please don't disappoint me. I'm from New Jersey too. Like, you're also representing me. Like, please don't fuck up. But her and Teresa did good. I was very, very impressed with Teresa. I'm like, look at you, thinking she's Spider-Man, the way she was crawling on that twister board, taking the shot with her mouth. And then Kenya, I don't know what Kenya was doing. I'm like, Kenya, what is this? She was trying, and then she tried to get the shot and she spilled it all over. And in her confessional, I'm not sure who she was taking a jab at, because she was like, oh, well, I'm not used to putting my mouth on, big, large things like that and wrapping my lips around it. I'm like, why not? Oh, you're not? But okay, Kenya, whatever. You do you. So everybody enjoyed their little game. Everybody was taking shots. Even Ramona, Ramona, she almost threw out her spine trying to take the shot from the twister board. I don't know what that was. And then here comes Michael. Michael was like, well, here, I have a shot, but I have it for you, Luann. Yeah, you, Luann, my little French girl, come over here. So then he's like, but this time I'm going to be laying down on the mat and I'm going to have the shot in my mouth and you have to take it while straddling me. And I'm like, Michael, what is going on here? Like, and Luann, she agrees to this and she's like, okay, fine, I'll do it. Like, he lays down and I'm just disgusted watching this scene. Like, you're married. I'm appalled. I'm disgusted. I'm ashamed. Like, you're a married man. And it's just gross to see that type of behavior. Like, I was just truly disgusted. Okay. Is Michael's wife still watching me right now? She's not? You sure? Okay. I was all here for it. I was like, yes, Luann, yes, Luann, yes, Luann. I'm like, oh, fuck it. I mean, if he's going to continue doing these games, might as well, right? I mean, isn't that what we do on vacation? Fuck married men, right? Isn't that a thing nowadays? Why not? I am not condoning that. But Luann, she straddles him. She straddles him really good. I'm like, damn, bitch, like, you're about to get off him in a second. Don't get on too tight. You might break something. And then she proceeds to take the shot. I don't know if they kiss or not, but they come close in contact with their lips. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, Michael. Like, I'm telling y'all, I know I said this in my last review, but if Andy does not get his ass up and make some phone calls to get Michael's wife on the next season of The Real Housewives of New York with Luann, he just missed out on a huge opportunity, because that's a whole storyline right there. We could also be promoting The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip and New York at the same time. It could be like a crossover, so... But whatever. Regardless, that was that. They had their little fun game. And then Melissa's like, okay, we're going to play the next game, which I personally like to call the Erica Jane game, because they put these plastic things in their mouth in order to like make their mouth like the same way that Erica did to Sutton when she threatened her, when she was just like, or what? Or what? Because that's what they look like. They were all looking like Erica. So the Erica Jane game. They had to say these phrases with those plastic things in their mouth. And I always wondered, once you put that in your mouth, nobody else could play that, right? Unless you wash it, or do you throw the game away, or can only those specific people who are playing the game play the game again? Because, I mean, I don't know if you're going to continue wanting to put these plastic things in your mouth after they've been rotated around, but I don't know how. I never played it, so... Regardless, it looked cute. Ramona, she was having way too much fun because I think she pissed herself. She got up and she had to run to the bathroom to go, wipe herself or something. I think Kyle, she also pissed herself too. I mean, Kyle was just like, oh, I had to pee myself too. And then she ran into her confessional, into the bathroom to go pee as well. So I thought that was cute. I thought that was a little cute game. And then they had to play beer pong, right? At least that's what I was always raised to call it, beer pong. I'm not sure if that's what everybody else calls it, but regardless, they had to play beer pong, and if their pink ball landed in the, I don't know if it was beer or if it was liquor or if it was whatever, but it was in a drink. And if it was landing it, they had to answer these certain sexual questions that Melissa had in this cup. So I believe it was Teresa that hers landed or whatever, and her question was, what's your celebrity crush or whatever that you would sleep with or whatever? And Teresa was just like, oh, it's some Antonio guy that I had to Google. I'm like, who is she talking about? And she took a jab at him because she was like, I used to think he was cute, but now I don't think he's cute. And then Luann, I forgot whose her option was, but I'm pretty sure it was Michael the concierge. Some of the other questions that they had to answer to were, oh, have you ever used food in the bedroom? And I was actually shocked that Ramona answered because according to her, the last episode, she is too classy to be talking about anything sexual like this in public like this, on camera, in a group setting like this. So I'm shocked that she answered. She said that she used the cannoli and she put it on the guy's you-know-what. And, she went to town. I'm like, wow, Ramona, look at you. Kudos to you. You get 1 point in my book. Have y'all ever used any type of food like that? I mean, from my experience, it was ice cream, vanilla ice cream to be exact, and that was a whole moment. But that's that. This isn't about me. This is about them. So the next question was, oh, what's the strangest or oddest place that you have sex? And Ramona, she said, again, she answered again. She said that hers was on the beach. Kyle was the one that shocked me the most because she said that when her and Mauricio went to Vegas to a black tie event, she was sitting on his lap at the table in public, and she was just kind of riding that pony. And then Cynthia had me dying the entire time in the confessional with her little dance that she was doing, like little hip rotation that she kept doing. Cynthia in her confessional, she was just like, now wait a minute, she must have not been doing much because you have to do this. I'm telling you, I'm going to miss Cynthia low-key on the Housewives of Atlanta because she was hilarious in the confessionals here. And then Melissa, she was confused too in her confessional. She's like, wait a minute, but like the zipper, I had questions too because unless he unbutton his pants and also unzip everything, that must be painful because there's no way that you could poke your wee-wee through, that you could poke your wee-wee through the pee hole and then try to penetrate. It just seems like there will be blood all over the place and you might have to go to the hospital by the end of the night. So I don't know how Kyle got away with that. I was shocked because I know that Kyle has a fun side, at least from what I've seen on this show, but I didn't know that she got down like that. So Kyle, you also get another kudo and another point in my book from you. So, I like you. I really like, and I have enjoyed Kyle a lot on this show specifically. I mean, on Beverly Hills, it's a whole different dynamic, but here she has been so fun and so cool. Same thing for Kenya. I'm actually shocked that Ramona was a good sport about the game too. And she had a good night and a good episode here and wasn't really doing too much or complaining too much. At the end of the day, they all had a good night. They all had fun. They all ended the night with throwing the pink balls at each other that they were using to play beer pong. And I'm not talking about the pink balls in between Michael the concierge's legs. And that was that, y'all. What did y'all think about this episode specifically? I kind of liked the conversation that they had after the whole Buggy ride, getting like behind the scenes of the Housewives franchise and seeing what their opinions are, because we usually don't get these type of conversations from them. Like, oh, what do you think about, what goes on social media? What do you think about, the good, the bad, and the ugly of us being on the show all together and stuff? So I know that they can all relate to each other because whether they like each other or not, they all go through the same experience, just in a different city. So it was nice to see that. I enjoyed the entire slumber party scene. That was so cute. Michael, you're in danger when you get home eventually. Just stay at the villa. Don't even go home because your wife is probably not even going to be there. But that's that, y'all. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode down in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Bye, y'all. Mwah.